The Ultimate Hope, teaching about the lowest grade of rebirth in the Contemplation Sutra by Master Huijing. What if even those who have committed the gravest transgressions could attain liberation at the moment of death? What if liberation was not reserved for the virtuous, but extended equally to those trapped in the deepest darkness of ignorance and despair? This profound teaching, found in the Contemplation Sutra's description of the lowest level of the lowest grade of rebirth, lies at the heart of Pure Land Buddhism. It embodies the boundless compassion of Amitabha Buddha and offers unlimited hope to all beings, no matter how far they have fallen. Yet this teaching is often overlooked. Many practitioners and Buddhist scholars dismiss it as applying only to the lowest class of beings, those with the poorest spiritual capacity. By interpreting the sutra too literally, they miss the profound implications of the Buddha's message that no one is beyond liberation. Buddha's teachings caution against reading the sutras superficially, as this can obscure the deeper truths they convey. As the saying goes, to cling to the surface meaning of words is to wrong the Buddhas of the past, present, and future. Reflecting upon the profound meaning behind these simple words, the passage describing rebirth of those on the lowest level of the lowest grade is remarkably concise, fewer than 200 Chinese characters, yet it contains profound depth. To fully grasp its significance, we must look beyond the surface meaning of the words. Why is this particular passage so important? This teaching embodies Amitabha Buddha's boundless compassion. It is the practical expression of Amitabha's 18th vow, his fundamental vow to save all sentient beings. Even those burdened by the heaviest karma and trapped in the cycle of suffering are not excluded. This profound teaching offers unlimited hope to all sentient beings. Let's take a look at the relevant passage in the Contemplation Sutra. Those who attain rebirth on the lowest level of the lowest grade are the sentient beings who commit such evils as the 5 gravest offenses, the 10 evil acts, and all kinds of immorality. Owing to such evil karma, a fool like this will fall into evil realms and suffer endless agony for many eons. When he is about to die, he meets a good Dharma teacher who consoles him in various ways, teaching him the wonderful Dharma and urging him to be mindful of the Buddha. But he is too tormented by pain to do so. The good Dharma teacher then advises him, if you cannot concentrate on the Buddha, then you should say instead, Namo Amitabha. In this way, he sincerely and continuously says Namo Amitabha 10 times. Because he calls the Buddha's name, with each repetition, the evil karma that would bind him to birth and death for 80 kotis of eons is extinguished. At the point of death, he sees before him a golden lotus flower, like the disk of the sun, and in an instant he is born within a lotus bud in the land of ultimate bliss. Who are the beings of the lowest class? The beings described in this passage are those who have committed the gravest offenses, the 5 grave transgressions, which are killing one's father, killing one's mother, killing an enlightened being or arhat, causing a Buddha to bleed, and creating division in the Buddhist community, and the 10 evil deeds, which are killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, divisive speech, harsh language, idle chatter, greed, hatred, delusion. According to the law of karma, such acts would ordinarily condemn these individuals to countless eons of suffering in the hell realms. They spent their lives rejecting moral causation, denying the concept of karma and rebirth, and even slandering the three jewels, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Master Shandao, the founder of the Pure Land School, described such people vividly. These are people of the lowest capacity, driven by greed and anger. They break fundamental precepts, slander the Dharma, and show no remorse for their actions. With this, we narrow in on the heart of compassion, teaching a lesson for practitioners. Despite their transgressions, the Buddha does not refer to these wrongdoers as evil people. Instead, he calls them foolish people. This distinction reflects the Buddha's boundless compassion, tolerance, and understanding. The Buddha recognizes that such individuals act not out of malice, but out of ignorance. Their minds are clouded by delusion, and they are driven by forces of karmic habits and afflictions. They are not inherently evil. They are trapped in the darkness of ignorance, as the Contemplation Sutra states. The Buddha's mind offers great compassion, with unconditional loving kindness. It embraces all sentient beings. The Buddha does not judge beings with dualist notions of good or evil. As true practitioners of the Dharma, we are called to embody the Buddha's great compassion. This means cultivating acceptance and empathy for all beings, even those who act out of ignorance and delusion. When we encounter suffering or harm caused by others, let us remember, under the influence of karma, no one acts intentionally. The wise respond with compassion, while the foolish resort to blame. Even if we cannot immediately feel compassion, we must refrain from hatred. To hate is to perpetuate an endless cycle of harm and suffering. By understanding others' perspectives and focusing on the positive rather than the negative, we can foster harmony rather than conflict. Even when negative thoughts arise, if we refrain from acting on them, we prevent the spread of discord. Now, let's return our minds to the scriptures, looking at the critical journey of the moment of death. At the moment of death, foolish people face unimaginable suffering as their bodies undergo the separation of the four elements of earth, water, fire, and wind. This process is described as excruciating as a live turtle being stripped of its shell. Their consciousness becomes confused, and visions of hell appear before them. They feel burning flames and see wardens of hell approaching with chains. Drenched in sweat and overwhelmed by terror, they grasped desperately at empty air. Fear and despair consume them as they realize they are destined to fall into the lowest hell, where they will endure countless eons of torment. Master Shandao describes this state of terror. In their final hours, gravely ill, spirit wild, and mind unstilled, hell's horrors dance before their gaze, as sweat runs cold and empty hands raise. Just then, when no hope is to be found, there is the appearance of a wise teacher. At this critical moment, just as the dying person is about to fall into hell, a wise teacher appears. This teacher could be a reverend Buddhist monk or knowledgeable lay practitioner. Seeing the dying person's intense agony, the teacher compassionately consoles them and shares the wonderful Dharma regarding the power of Amitabha's great vow. The teacher explains that Amitabha's name, Namo Amitofo, meaning homage to Amitabha Buddha, carries infinite merit and embodies his vow to save all sentient beings. Initially, the teacher urges the dying person to focus their mind on Amitabha Buddha's name. However, the dying person is too tormented by pain to concentrate. As Master Shando explains, when the sinner is overwhelmed by the suffering of death, they are unable to focus their mind on the Buddha's name. The teacher then offers a simpler practice. If you cannot focus your mind on Amitabha, simply call out his name aloud. Instead of crying out in despair, cry out, Namo Amitofo. Here is where we see the power of Amitabha recitation. This simpler method proves effective. With sincere devotion, the dying person continuously recites Amitabha's name 10 times. Namo Amitofo, Namo Amitofo, Namo Amitofo. In Buddhist teachings, the number 10 symbolizes completeness. It is not about an exact count, but about wholehearted sincerity. The Contemplation Sutra states, because they call the Buddha's name, with each recitation, the evil karma that would bind them to birth and death for 80 kotis of eons is extinguished. Every single utterance has the power to dissolve the karma that binds beings to samsara, thus leading to true liberation from samsara forever. In their final moments, a miracle occurs. A golden lotus flower, radiant as the sun, appears before the dying person. The Contemplation Sutra describes this moment. When they come to die, they see before them a golden lotus flower as bright as the sun, and in an instant they are born within a lotus bud in the land of ultimate bliss. This golden lotus, sent by Amitabha Buddha, carries them to the lotus pond of the land of ultimate bliss. From that moment on, they are forever liberated from the 6 realms of rebirth. This liberation we refer to is actually ultimate perfection. Though brief, this passage about the lowest class of rebirth contains profound and extraordinary implications that fill one with boundless joy. Many practitioners overlook this teaching because it addresses those with the lowest spiritual capacity, lacking in merit. Yet, if even such beings can be saved by Amitabha and escape samsara forever, then truly no being lies beyond Amitabha's saving power. This reveals the unimaginable power of Amitabha's compassionate vow. Just as a great physician's skill is most evident in curing the gravest illness, Amitabha's infinite compassion shines brightest in saving those burdened by the heaviest karma. This message provides hope for all beings. Amitabha's salvation is active, equal, and unconditional. Even those with the gravest sins can, through sincere repentance and recitation of his name, rely on the power of Amitabha's vow to eliminate their karmic obstacles and achieve rebirth in the land of ultimate bliss. This teaching about the lowest class of rebirth offers the ultimate hope to all beings. It demonstrates the perfection of the Buddha's teaching and the boundless compassion of Amitabha, offering hope to all sentient beings. Namo Amitofo.